anyhow, back to my point. When I was doing a lot of psychic studies, I realized that, the Kabbalah and a lot of the other religious platforms we have out there in this planet really are the Rosicrucians, on and on. They really are trying to tell us something about the other dimensional spaces that we can touch upon if we're willing to meditate, if we're willing to commune with our angels or aliens or whatever. And that's what I was talking about at the beginning of the show. These universal guides could not necessarily be, but maybe ourselves in the future or a different timeline. And I just think that there's, and there are, in my opinion, 9th, 10th, 12th, 15th dimensional beings out there that would be these universal guides, if that's what you're talking about. Do these guides come to you? Do you talk to them? Or is it just a knowledge that they're there? How do you know about them?
Well, I'm becoming aware of them through, I guess, what you'd call the guidance I've been given to find out about them in my life. And I was going to ask you, do you know of the astral entities that can pretend to be like Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know quite a bit about them, actually. And that is, and I'll tell you something. When I was growing up, one of the things my universal guides or my angels or whoever they were out there, they told me, Lorian, do not believe or listen to channelers. And I always said, why not? There's some great stuff out there. There's Seth at the time. I was, in the 70s, there was Seth, and then it just, it snowballed, and now we've got Bashar and all these amazing people out there, supposedly. And, they said to me, and I know this is going to sound corny, they said, all good is not always what it appears to be, and evil can take over. Something along those lines. And it was a long time ago they told me that one. So basically, they've always kept me very wary of. I've never belonged to a cult. I've never done Scientology. I've never done any channeling stuff. I've stayed away from anything that could give whatever frequency these evil type of beings live on. I've never given them a foothold into my reality. And I think what people are very unaware of is what all magicians and what all Rosicrucians and what all of the religions, these deep religions that are very, the Kabbalists, all these secret societies, the Dawn, the Sun, the Golden Age or the Dawn, whatever they were. I can't remember their names right now. But all of these cults and religions. And I'm saying cults in a weird way because what is that? The Dawn, God, I can't remember their names right now, you guys. It's in the 70s when I was dealing with those people. But anyhow, the German offshoot magic groups, they all know this. And what they know is this. It's very simple. If you don't protect your mind, you're doomed to end up like the rest of these people on this planet that are easily mind-controlled, easily fooled, and become cult members and follow like sheep. Anybody who's out there trying to pull your strings. And that's basically what my angels or whatever has been telling me all this time is don't let anybody have control of your mind. Always protect it. And I have been. And, I've been lucky. And so far, they've only tried to attack me twice when my shields were down. They broke my arm in a tub in Las Vegas. That's another whole story for another day. And another time, I fell in a bathroom. That's another story for another day, too. But I honestly know I was physically attacked by something invisible. And And that can be many things, because you got to realize the government has invisibility. They have a way to be invisible. If you guys ever read the book Camilio by Robert Guffey, I highly recommend it. It'll blow your mind. If you don't believe that our government can do things like that, then I don't know what to tell you. But you got to keep one eye on the government and one eye on the aliens. That's another way to put it. So I hope I answered your question.
Hey, speaking of what you just said about disappearing, my friend that worked for the CIA said the Delta Force, the ones that went in and did the, what Phil Schneider was involved with and all that.
Right.
The Delta Force. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay. The Delta Force the Delta Force was designed to deal with the alien force that they didn't like. So much of our government are aliens, but there's also intruders out there. And the Delta Force, part of the secret space program and all that was developed to deal with alien entities that weren't under contract of our U.S. government and the reptilians running the world today. And anyway, she told me that as early as might have been even before 1990, they had belts that the Delta Force would wear, and they had an electronic device, and they push a button, and they could completely disappear wherever they were. They could disappear and cloak themselves wherever they were, and they would change dimensions. And so, if they got into a battle, if they changed their density, they were immune to being shot at and explosives. And but then on the other hand, they couldn't fight back unless they were visible. So they had to be in the physical plane in order to fight back toward any enemy. So I know it's a real deal. So that's a very good point you made.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Like I said, I always keep one eye on them and one eye on the aliens. I have a good friend who always says that too, and we've become very good friends over the years because we both said that to each other one day, and then we realized, we're both on the same level here. It's very, you guys, I'm not saying there's levels or anybody's better than the next guy. I'm just saying you gotta, what they told me at one point. I know this is going to sound really corny, but I get out of bed every morning and I do what they tell me to do. What they told me to do was this. They said, you know about Joan of Arc, right? And I said, yes. And we all know Joan of Arc probably wasn't what it was. I mean, it's a myth, basically. But they said, you understand Joan of Arc. And I said, I do. And they said, yes, you do. They said, what you've got to do every day is you've got to get up, you've got to meditate, you got to get square with, and this is how they put it. They put it all in, one giant picture in my mind. But basically, I have to get up, I have to meditate, I have to prepare for battle every day. I have to don my Joan of Arc armor, and it's on a psychic level, and I have to be prepared for battle every day. Because that's how deep this goes. And this is what most humans don't get. And, not saying that I'm not a human, but I'm saying if people don't understand that, then they're open to be taken over by any type of entity that's out there, including our government, because I'm not sure what they're up to with their mind control program. I put on 3 conferences around super soldiers, mind control, and targeted individuals, and I'm telling you, folks, what I learned at those conferences, I'll tell you something. The reason I started putting on conferences, it had nothing to do with putting on a conference for anybody else but me. I wanted to get 10 or 12 experts together to get some answers quick. That's why I do my conferences, or at least it used to be. It's very important that everybody learns stuff fast, and the best way to do it, and I know this is going to sound really bad because I'm promoting a lot of these events, but you should try to get to as many conferences as you can. And I'm not saying go there for the speakers. I'm saying go there for the attendees. That's why I go now. I go to talk to the people that are there, not to see the people on the stage. Because I know what the people on the stage's game is. I already got that. I don't need that. What I need is I need to let people know I'm going to be there, and I announce it through my radio shows, and I say, come find me. And I tell you people pretty much where I'm going to be, and I'll say, come to my presentation if I'm speaking somewhere, or I'll say, come and find me at the cafe or whatever. I'm there from 2 to 6. And then people come to me and they tell me their stories like Bob just told me, and they tell me the things that are true, and I just store them away into the data banks for battle for when it comes. And I'm not saying it's going to be a physical battle. This may be just a mental or spiritual battle that we're going to have to deal with here. I don't know. All I know is something's happening and something's coming, and I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if any of you guys out there that are having some type of contact feel that, but I've been told 2022 and 2025, and I don't know why those 2 years are important. Something's going to break loose then. I don't know if it's on a physical level here with our government, or if it's something to do with the aliens making contact, or maybe this whole disclosure thing that the government's doing is just a sideshow, because maybe they're planning on coming here in 2022 and they all know it, and this is just a distraction until they get here. I don't know. So I'm asking you guys a question. Anybody got any dates that they've been getting information?
Can I tell you a secret? I can tell you why the government doesn't want to do disclosure about the aliens.
Yeah.
They are the aliens.
Well, that makes total sense to me, but I've met Bob Bigelow and I've shook his hand, and I think he feels pretty real to me. Do you think he's not a human?
I didn't say that they're not. I didn't say they're not real. Every government, every religion on this planet works together for the same goal at the highest levels.
And that is to control the masses, to do their bidding.
Among others,
I'm guessing? Yeah, okay. Well, we know it's a massive mind control. If anybody's involved in any religion, they are under some type of mind control. So that's obvious. But
have you read David Icke's book, The Biggest Secret?
No, I haven't. That was his second or third book, and I didn't read it.
Well, that's a must read. That is a must read. Because
I will read
he explains, he gives you enough background about the Blue Bloods, how the Blue Bloods are an engineered group of people that are essentially reptilians that can shapeshift into human form so they can walk among the human beings and pretend that they're humans, but they actually control every aspect of life on this planet.
Well, that makes total sense to me. I mean, I've been talking about the cabal and conspiracies. I don't know if any of you guys know this about me, but I'm a huge JFK assassination. I don't know I'm not a promoter. I'm an advocate for getting Lee Harvey Oswald exonerated. That's really what I'm at this point. I've been studying the JFK assassination since I was about 14, 15 years old. And I put on 3 big conferences in Dallas around JFK, which I'm no longer producing, but I still attend. I've given them over to another person to manage and run. But bottom line is, if you study the JFK assassination, you know that there's evil running our government at least, and possibly the world. So the next leap over to reptilian doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I think you're making a lot of sense.
That's a primer. That is so essential to understanding what's going on. Is all the Blue Bloods, like the royal family, George Bush Sr., when he recently died, he went to the astral plane, and he shifted back to his reptilian form. He has a very hideous-looking reptilian form on the astral plane.
Interesting.
That is a fact.
So how how do we defend ourselves against? How do we defend ourselves against these? I mean, that's basically what my guys have been telling me since I was born and almost died. Is basically this place is it's a battlefield.
Well,
if you're aware.
It certainly is, and and that's where our group comes in. And Val, why don't you be the one to share the good news about the Real Guides and how the Real Guides can help?
Yeah, thanks, Bob. This is a good precursor to our show, June 17th, where we'll have, I believe, 2 hours. Lorian?
Yeah, you guys are going to have 2 hours. It's going to be great.
Well, we'll need 2 hours plus maybe 2 more lifetimes to talk about what we're doing. So I can just give you a hint, though. We're not any of these things that we've been talking about. It's more or less an unknown to everybody. So if you can just imagine or consider something that is unknown to you or to anybody else, that's what we are presenting, this unknownness. And it's just a matter of recognition. It's a matter of recognizing this unknownness that we call the isness. It just is. So that's just a hint about what we'll be talking about June 17th.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. Now, does the isness have leaders, or is it just it is, like Be Here Now with Baba Ram Dass?
Well, it's more than Ram Dass and Eckhart Tolle, the here and now ideas. It's an isness that it cannot be qualified or put into any kind of imagination or consideration or idea. It can only be recognized. So that's your hint. It can only be recognized. It can't be. You can approach it with knowledge and imagination and whatever, but it can only be experienced through a recognition, a perception, and there's nothing really you can say about it. That's why it takes so long for people to pick up on it, because it's just it's nothing relates to it here that we're dealing with in creation.
Wow, that's very cool. So is it a way of transcendence? I mean, I'm just stabbing at the air here now because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, that's an idea. Transcendence, and look at that. It's an idea. You read that someplace, or somebody told you that, and it's just an idea, just like anything else. Ascension.
Sure, it's an ideology.
Or heaven, or anything somebody presents. So. Again, we'll leave it a mystery until June 17th because our show is about over here. But no, I really appreciate it, Lorian. You've been a really fun guest. Appreciate Bob and Claudia and Tim too, and all our other listeners. And it's been a really good show. There's a lot of information that was passed on, and I think people will get a lot out of this.
Oh,
so, I have something to say still.
Okay, Tim, go.
Yeah. You asked how we protect ourselves. Well, the way that's being offered right now to those that are paying attention to what's being said to them is there's a sound, a song, and it goes, "New you, you, you." And if a person sincerely testing it for themselves to find out for themselves about real guidance and a real education, and do sessions like 10, 15 minutes before you go to sleep, or a few times a day, maybe when you wake up in the morning, that the real guides will see this a sincere effort, and that they provide a certain amount of protection against all these things that are trying to convince everybody how to live or be under control, because all this is a human farming prison planet for these aliens you're talking about. with their mind control and everything. So it's the new you. As far as the real protection for a person that's sincerely wanting to find out what life's all about.
Absolutely, yeah. I totally believe in the power of sound and frequency and the way it does protect us. And I'm very intrigued by the new you, and I'd love to hear you guys chant it for me on my show sometime as a group. That would be awesome.
Okay, we can even do it now.
Yeah.
Well,
we can even sing it now.
Sure, it's a song, not a chant, correct?
Yeah, and a sound.
We call it a song. Yes.
Yeah, it's a sound. Okay, cool. You guys want to do it right now for me? I'd love to hear you all together do it. That'd be cool.
Well, what we do is we go around in a circle, basically, and each one of us, including you, can do it, and then we'll just sign off. So I'll just call on people, and then they'll do it, and then we'll quit the show. So thank you very much, Lorian. So here it goes. I'll start with it.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. New you. Tim? New you. Bob?
New you.
And Lorian?
New you.
Wonderful.
We'll see you.
See, thank you, Lorian. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.